Hello friends, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Meg, and today I'm going to show you this really quick, simple, easy, it's my go-to glam. It's glitzy, it's fun, it's not too much. I think that it's perfect for everyday wear. Obviously, I'm a person who loves wearing makeup, so to me, this is like an everyday look, but for you, it could be a special occasion look. It's super easy to create. So while I chat, I'm also going to walk you through step by step and give you tips for makeup application while we go through this. It's the holiday season. I figured what better time than to share this look in this tutorial with you. I think it's so fun, especially now that I have bangs. I've always enjoyed a heavy smoked out lower lash line, but now that I have bangs, I love it that much more. So if you'd like to see how I got this, then come hang out with me. Let's get into it. I am so excited to share this look with you today because it is honestly like my go-to look of the year. Like if I'm going to do something that I know how to do that doesn't take a lot of creative energy from me, if I just want to throw something on that's super quick and that I know that looks good and that's neutral, this is the look. I am going to be using the Nikkie Tutorials X Beauty Bay palette. I love this palette. If you have the opportunity to get your hands on it, I recommend it because there's so many shimmers in here, and if you like shimmer, if you like glitter, this is like the palette for you. I am fairly certain they still sell it, and it's $30, so I feel like that's pretty inexpensive as far as palettes go nowadays, considering I just spent like $50 on the newest Lunar Beauty palette, so 30 bucks, like that's not bad at all. I feel like that's pretty affordable for something that has really good quality shadows in it, and there's just something in there for everyone. And I use the one shimmer in here ever since this palette came out. I use it all the time, and like there's a pretty good dent here, but I haven't hit pan yet, so there's a good amount of shadow in here. You can see that there's a lot of neutral shades, but there's also some really fun pops of color if you want to start to get into color. But the color story that we're focusing on today, we're literally just going to use 3, maybe 4. Probably just 3 though, because that's what I normally stick to. 3 shades in this palette. So we have Mila, which is like this lighter, more like camel brown color that I'm a big fan of. We have 5 AM, which is like a darker brown. And I'm laughing because 5 AM is like normally how late I'm up. And then we have All In, which is the shimmer. That is pure magic. So I am super excited for that. Normally I don't listen to music while I film videos, so this is going to be a new experience for me. You can also do a wing liner with this. I'm not going to today because like I said, I just like to keep it quick. I like to keep it simple. I just have like this makeup swatch. It's called the Dry Makeup Brush Cleaner by J-Cat Beauty. It was like $5 on Amazon. Mine's disintegrating. I need another one. Because I've had it for years, it lasts. And basically you just take your brushes and rub it up against here to get any loose pigment. So even though your brush may look dirty, it's really not. It's not going to transfer the pigment that's on there. So I already have my eyes prepped and primed as usual. I have the Anastasia eye primer. I've just been using it since it came out. And this is like a really smoked out, like sassy, like dramatic look, but I feel like it's not too much for the everyday person. And if you don't wear a lot of eyeshadow or wear a lot of makeup, you can easily like customize this for you. So you can just like maybe not blow your eyeshadow out as much as I am, or not pack it on as much as I do. So that's the beauty of makeup, is that it's like one size fits all for whatever your needs are. First, again, another shade I use all the time that I do have a dent in is Mila, and it's that camel brown color. And I just dab. I always dab my shadows into place where I want to place them, and then I work on blending. So I'm just gonna work on building this color up. It's very pigmented, and I'm gonna do like kind of rounded, oops, at least I didn't swipe, kind of like a rounded shape, but I'm still also going to add a little bit of a cat eye meets rounded look. But I always start where you want the pigment to be the darkest, which is this corner here. Zoom you in, that'll be helpful, huh? Okay. So you can kind of see I'm holding the brush closer to where the tip is because I'm really pressing and putting pressure. And I'm just doing circles and wiggles to get that color on there. I feel like I could easily do this eye look in like 10 minutes, but because I'm here talking to you, it's gonna take longer. But this, I promise, it's so fast and easy, especially once you get the hang of it. So then now that I'm gonna work on blending, I'm moving my fingers back on the brush so it's more loosey-goosey. And with lighter pressure, I'm gonna start doing teeny little circles to slowly blend this just upwards, and then also bringing it in. Because again, we don't want to close off the inner corner of the eye. So just going super, super light. And then once I feel like most of the color is deposited, I'll start getting into that inner corner. And here I'm barely touching the skin. There's barely any pigment. So you just have like that slightest little like oomph of color. And then this is kind of where you get to play around, because right now for me this is like pretty close to my crease. I do have a lot of real estate on my eyes, so here you can kind of play around and decide, like, do you want to blow this area out and smoke it out, you know, do it the Nikki way of kind of like bringing that into the contour of your nose. So for today, why not? I say why not. And then now I'm just going to do a final like blend over, especially if you're working with a eyeshadow primer that has some tackiness to it. It really helps to pack the shadow on, and then once you have it on there, you can easily blend it, because if you start blending like on top of a sticky base, you're going to struggle with it. So I really like this method for shadow. And this like camely brown color is like the main star of the show, is the main shadow that we're going to be using. So now whatever is left, I'm kind of like bringing up towards the end of my brow. So it's mostly a rounded look with like a very subtle like, I like how I just start doing my makeup and like I get stuffy. It's like, my brain is like, yep, we're gonna make you stuffy because we know that you're doing your makeup. Alrighty, so I'm just adding a little bit more, and I'm bringing that in about halfway. And I'm honestly going to take whatever is left, so not a lot of pigment, just like whatever is left. And I'm just going to kind of bring that all the way across my lid, because I don't want a lot of darkness in the inner corner. Just a little bit of color. So I know this video is probably gonna go up like 2 to 3 weeks after I film it. So I'm like, things are a little bit out of order, but I'm listening to Taylor as I'm getting ready, and I am so upset because I did not get tickets. I'm sure everybody is sick of it at this point, but it's nothing new though, because I bought tickets to go see Blink-182 like whenever their tour was. I don't know time, I have time blindness, so like whenever that was, like what was that, like 2 months ago probably at this point. And it was the same thing, like I think especially because Tom's back in the band, it was just a bloodbath getting tickets. I haven't purchased concert tickets. I feel like the last time I went to a concert was when I saw Britney Spears in like 2016 in Vegas. Or was it 2018? It's been a long time, and even that, you're not buying normal concert tickets. You're buying through like the venue. So yeah, basically I haven't bought concert tickets really in modern times. You know, since all these complications have come out with Ticketmaster being monopoly, like it didn't used to be like that. So I was really shocked when I experienced buying Blink-182 tickets, because it was the same thing. It was a queue. It said like, no matter, like I had a code for pre-sale, and they just, Blink-182 did a general, like if you don't care, I'm sorry if you don't care about this, but this is what we're ranting about today. Blink-182 had a general pre-sale code. So Mark has a Discord. So in his Discord, he released what the code was. So it was the same code for everyone. They just didn't like publicly pop it on their socials to try to control the pre-sale. So we all had the same code, and it was like the same thing. It was like 10 a.m. like local time, like whatever venue you're buying for is when the tickets would go on sale. And it was the same thing. So like I was on my account, my husband was on his account trying to do this, trying to get the tickets, and it was like 2,000 people, and I was just like, oh my god. Like I kind of had a preview of being on the West Coast of seeing what the East Coasters were dealing with, and it was like a hot mess. Like Ticketmaster could barely handle the capacity of Blink-182. So I'm like half not surprised at the whole Taylor situation, but it was still handled extremely poorly. Now I'm taking a smaller brush. This is a Morphe M506, and I'm taking that dark brown 5 a.m. shade. And we're just gonna start building here in the outer corner. And what I like to do for a smoky lash line, especially because like, I mean, you could do this with wing liner too, but because we're not really doing wing liner, I still want to have like a smoky-ish lash line. So I kind of dab lightly whatever is left and just bring that across. So then when I add my liquid liner, it just looks a little diffused. It's just like a nice subtle way to add to the smoky look without it being too much, you know? So I'm going to be doing the same process of just kind of dabbing the color in this outer corner here. And I'm not going to blend it or bring it up as high, but I really want to have like a solid deposit back here. And then just kind of go with the flow. But yeah, we were in a queue. There was 2,000 people ahead of us, and like we got in the queue at the same time, and it was just so weird how it went because like there really was no order for it. I was in the queue for like maybe 15 minutes before I got in to purchase tickets. So then I freaked out. I like threw the phone on my husband. I'm like, you pick our tickets. Like I can't do this. And he was just like, I'm just curious, like, you know, like the whole process of us trying to like check out and stuff, like he was still in the queue because I'm like, in case we get locked out, like stay in line. And it was just wild. Like I thought we would be able to afford like lower bowl seats, like kind of like in the front. And those, like the dynamic pricing was on. Blink-182 has no control over that. The artist has no control over that. I firmly believe that it's like written into their contract and they can't opt out of it. You can opt out of premium ticket pricing, but I don't think you can opt out of dynamic price. I don't know. Please don't yell at me in the comments because Twitter has like been a dumpster fire about this whole thing. So anyways, like I was looking at tickets and I was just like, oh my god, $350, because I was seeing people say like they got pit seats for like $150 or like they got lower bowl for like $100. So I was just like, oh, you know, like maybe $150, like that's what we'll spend and we'll get these really great seats because they're my favorite band and Tom is back. Like how, like it's worth it. But yeah, no, it was like $350 for the lower bowl, like up by the front of the stage. And I started panicking and Joe was just like, Meg, we just got to pick somewhere. We just got to pick somewhere. Like all the tickets are disappearing before our eyes and coming back with higher and higher and higher and higher prices. So like, we're kind of like in the, you guys can't see, we're kind of like in like the back curve in the lower bowl, and we weren't able to find like $150 tickets there, or maybe they were $110. They were under $150 and we were able to find them. So like we just grabbed them and like got out of there. But even today, I recently looked and the tickets in the area that we're sitting are reselling for $450. It's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So I hope something comes of these investigations that the government's doing on Ticketmaster, but I'm also not an idiot and I know that capitalism runs the world, so I don't have much faith. But anyways, I'm super sad I didn't get tickets for Taylor. I was kind of expecting the same thing. I got, you know, I did the verified fan and then I was waitlisted. My husband was waitlisted and I was really sad because she's playing on my birthday in Vegas. And my husband and I eloped in Vegas, and we go to Vegas pretty much every year around our birthdays. Our birthdays are only a couple days apart, so I love celebrating my birthday with him. So normally that's where we go because it's close to where we live, and it's normally we go, you know, during the week, and it's a lot more inexpensive than the weekend, that's for sure. But I was really disappointed. Like, I thought it was meant to be because she's playing literally on the day of my birthday in Vegas, where we got married, where we go every year to celebrate our birthday. I was like, we're getting tickets. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. So I'm hoping that something happens with the resale tickets and like the prices go down. But it was a shit show. So if you're a fellow Taylor Swift fan and you weren't able to get tickets, I am right there with you. Also, if anyone has information on StubHub and if it's like legit, can you let me know in the comments? Because we were looking at StubHub because they actually had like not bad prices, but it would tell you the section you were in the aisle, but it wouldn't tell you what seats they were. And it also said that like you wouldn't get your tickets transferred to you until like hours before the show. Is that normal? I've never used something like StubHub before, so I have no idea. All right, so I ended up bringing this up a little bit higher on the other side accidentally. So I'm just kind of sweeping this up into like a triangle motion and just give this a good little blend. Oh, like why? Maybe it's because I have the window open and like, I feel like most people get hit with allergy stuff like at the end of summer, beginning of fall. But like if you live in the desert, you get hit with allergy stuff like in winter because that's kind of like when our seasons like truly changes. All right, so that's it. What we're going to do, and I lightly tap because like the shimmers in this palette are wildly pigmented. I love them so much. So it depends if you want a heavy shimmer, if you want like a lighter shimmer you like barely want to tap your finger on. I am tried and true on applying shimmers with your finger is the best. You get the best payoff unless you really don't want a lot and you want it really sparse, and apply with a brush, but also know you're gonna get flakes all over your face. So this shade All In I love because it's so unique and different. It's really gold, but it also has like silver and like some peachiness in it, and it just looks so pretty. And basically we're just using this as like our inner corner shade. See, like even with my finger I'm getting glitter on my face, but it's fine. This is why I'm also an advocate for eyes first, face makeup later. But like you can see I barely touched my lid and it's like pfft. And again with my studio lights it's like really reflecting, so it looks not as intense in person, and in the daylight it is stunning, and at nighttime it shimmers and sparkles in such a beautiful way. So I kind of got some up here, so I'm just taking this bigger fluffy brush and I'm just gonna like work on flicking it off. And here you can kind of like do like a faux cut crease with this, and because like the shimmer has such good payoff that you don't really need to lay down a base or anything. So what I like to do is kind of almost bring it all the way across my lid and then just go in with this brush with no extra product and just kind of blend out the edges. So now we have like a super shining, bright, shimmering lid. I'm obsessed. I love this palette so much. One last thing to touch on like the concert ticket thing is that I was like, oh, well maybe with the money that I'm saving not going to Taylor Swift, I can like, because like I live in the desert, no one comes here, and I feel like that's also why ticket prices are so much higher than East Coast locations, because that's always an argument. People are like, well, tickets didn't cost that much for me, and I'm like, because you live on the East Coast where there's like 30 shows. I live on the West Coast where there's like 3, so the demand is higher. So I was like, oh, maybe I can jet over to like Palm Springs and see Paramore, or, you know, Lizzo's coming to town. I looked up Paramore tickets in Palm Springs and like shitty seats were $400. So then I went to my hometown back on the East Coast and to look up tickets. And I'm like, oh, maybe we can like, you know, just plan a vacation home and go see a concert, because we did that this summer. And they were affordable. There were $80 tickets where I was looking. I'm like, oh, this is cool. But it's literally days away from the Blink-182 concert. So I'm like, I feel like that doesn't work. And then Lizzo tickets. I love Lizzo. I want to see her so bad. Like, she is my favorite, like, newer artist. And tickets to her show where I live were unaffordable to me. They were priced extremely high, again, like the $300 range. So I feel like we got away with something getting Blink-182 tickets for under $150. Like, it's just, something has to break, man, because this is not sustainable. It is not affordable. Like, you shouldn't have to be rich to see your favorite artist. That's not what music's about. So hopefully something is done about it. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to pause and do some liner on my lid. I'm going to do it super thin, and then we're going to work on the lower lash line. Okay, so for the lower lash line, I don't have eye primer because I'm getting older and I have more wrinkles in my under eye area, and it just seems to set in there no matter how thin or how well I blend out primer. So a trick that I found, I want to say like I got this from Ash Lovely. I can't remember anymore who I got it from. Luna's here. Can you see her? You can see her little nose. You can see her freckles. Hello. Hello, my baby. My baby. Anyways, it's taking a lip liner, and this one is a NYX suede lip liner, so I feel like it has like some texture to it. But lip liners typically have like the slightest bit of tackiness to it. So it gives something for the shadow to stick onto, and you can use it to darken your lash line without like the mess of a primer, essentially. I don't use this on my lips. I only use it on my eyes. So I just start building this up, and I go about halfway in, but really building it up and packing it on in this outer corner. And you can see it just is looking great with this look. So I'm going to take a smaller brush, a E36, and I'm just going to kind of smudge that out to diffuse it. And then I'm going to add just, again, a little bit more. Normally I do 2 to 3 layers in this outer corner with the lip liner and blend. Alright, so if you are a Taylor Swift fan, what are your thoughts on Midnights? I would love to know. I like pretty much the whole album. I think Snow on the Beach is probably like my least favorite. I just can't get into it. I think that we're going to get Speak Now next. This may already be out by the time she does her next release. Either December 2nd or on her birthday. I feel like we're going to get Speak Now. There's been so many hints. The American Music Awards were on last night, and I feel like she pretty much just confirmed it. Okay, so now I'm going to go into 5 AM, which is a darker shade, very sparingly, and I'm just going to kind of, I'm holding my brush at an upward angle, so I'm getting most of the pigment close to my lash line, and I'm barely touching it to my skin, to be honest, and I'm bringing that not all the way in, but almost all the way in. Again, with a heavy concentration in the outer corner, connecting it to the upper lid. And this is where it's fun to play around, because like you can get as smoky as you want with the lower lash line. Like that's like what I love about this look, is really playing around and having a super smoke out, dark, sassy lower lash line. So now I'm going to clean this brush off and then go into Mila and then just diffuse. So a little bit under where I place that, and again, I'm barely touching my skin. And I'm just doing light back and forth, and then this I'm pretty much bringing up to the inner corner, because I really like having like a rounded under eye look for when I do this specific eye look. Ah, I love it. Okay, we're getting there. We're looking so good. Let me know down in the comments what would be your dream concert to go to. I am a concert junkie. I'm very fortunate that I had a cool mom that liked music and like going to concerts, and so I was like raised going to concerts. My first concert was in 1998 and I saw the Spice Girls. I was 9 years old and it was amazing. And then I saw Britney Spears. I have seen NSYNC, I've seen the Backstreet Boys, I saw Christina Aguilera, and then I got into my teen years where I was just into the pop punk scene. Alright, so this is about it for eyes. I'm going to go ahead and start doing my base and then show you the blush and all that stuff that I'm using. But really quickly, I am using the House Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 100 Light Neutral. It's too dark for me. I bought this. I have a review on it. It's linked up above. I'm just wearing it until like I go to Sephora to exchange it because I want to make sure that I actually want to exchange it and not try a different foundation. So this is going to be my third time wearing it and I'm very happy with it. Spoiler alert, but if you want to see how it applies and all the info on it, check out that review video. Alright, so now that we have the base on, I just did foundation, concealer, cream bronzer. I used the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer and I used the Fenty Bronzer and Butter Biscuit. I set with powder because I do get shiny, so I'm looking a little dry right now. I'm feeling a little dry right now, but it'll balance out. So when I do my eyes first, because again, if you ever blend down too far, you can kind of clean it up with good concealer and with the powder, it kind of like... So what I do is just take whatever is left on the brush and I just kind of like semi-aggressively get really messy with it because there's not new product on the brush and it's just blending into the powder that's there. Did I say powder? The song changed and I just like... I'm so excited. I really hope Speak Now is the next one that comes out. I had thought of a question to ask, but I can't remember what it is. So I still have like this teensy little sample of NARS Laguna. I love NARS Laguna. That was my shit back in like 2010. This was like my birthday sample from like 2020. Or yeah, I think it was 2020. Or maybe I like ordered it in like a kit or something that came with like, no, I think I ordered it in a kit that came with this little mini thing and then like a full size, or it came with a sample size of the NARS lip balm, tinted lip balm. But this thing is like crumbling apart, so I really have to be careful with it. I do have bangs, so I'm not super concerned about getting my forehead. I'll still hit it lightly with bronzer, but right now I just really like a heavy bronzy moment on the cheekbones. I hit the sides of my nose a little too hard. We will fix that. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 33. Alright, so to try to fix this, I'm just taking this brush that I used to set my under eyes with. It still has powder on it, and I'm just going to try to blend it out. There we go. Like now my nose is looking hella dry, but that is okay because setting spray will save the day. Highlighter that I'm using is from Jaclyn Cosmetics. It's the Iced. I used to be such a fan of Jaclyn, as I think many people were. Not so much nowadays, but I bought this product when it was on sale at Sephora because I was genuinely curious about it. It's a nice highlighter. It's just not a brand that I would really want to support. So then I take what is left and go down the center of my nose. And normally I would pop that in my inner corner, but I got the new Lunar Beauty palette if it's still available, I think you should check it out because I really like this palette. I do have a really long, it's like 40 minutes long because it was an advent calendar. So I unboxed every single one, live reacted, swatched, did a look, did a whole like, it was a whole like everything in one. So this is a palette and I'm going to be taking this white icy shade right here for the inner corner because nothing matches it. It's like really fun too because it has a little bit of like pink tone to it. So she's cute. And again, I take the lightest amount and you can kind of see like, especially like in this side, there's like some blanks to fill in and that's where the inner corner highlight comes in. So again, because I have my face makeup done and I'm not wetting this, I'm really dabbing this on because I don't want glittery fallout. And then I also really am a fan of like dragging shimmer into like the inner fourth of the lower lash line, especially because that's like where a lot of my wrinkles are and makeup settles there. So what I find is that if I pack highlight there, it kind of covers up like anything that might settle into those wrinkles. So this just kind of like blends right into the shimmer we packed on with our finger. So I was thinking of like maybe trying Vlogmas. This might be a video that you're seeing during it if I decide to do it. It's really intimidating, but I want to kind of push myself to creativity and just kind of sharing like everyday things with you. So if you're interested in that, let me know with a thumbs up. I'm just kind of taking like the teensiest bit amount and putting it on my brow bone. Like I'm a glitzy glam kind of girl when it comes to my eye makeup, so I have to. I also think that this is like a perfect like go-to holiday makeup. Just my personal opinion. Lastly for blush, I'm going to pull out the Moon Prism palette. This is like my favorite. I love this one so much. It's the first one that came out. I've been using the Nude Prism, but I want to break from it. So what I'm going to do is take my two favorite colors, which is Stargaze and Pink Moon, and mix those together and put it on my cheeks for a little light glow. Although I've been kind of like not into blush as much. Like summertime I love blush, but now that it's winter I'm like, I just kind of like a really heavy bronze look. Makes no sense. So I was kind of thinking of doing like Vlogmas, of like maybe doing short videos. Not my normal niche when I'm on here talking, right? Of just kind of like what I do, especially because mental health has been such like a catapult for me and I've talked about it a lot in like my chit chat get ready with me videos. So I kind of want to take a break from doing that in this video. So maybe kind of sharing like what I do in my day-to-day, things that I do in my practice that kind of like are the tools that I have in my arsenal to help with my mental health. So maybe that's something you're interested in. Let me know. I'd be curious. And also like just kind of like what kind of videos would you want to see for Vlogmas? I'm still gonna be throwing up beauty content, but like what else would you like to see from me? Finally gonna fill in my brows because I realize maybe you're new here and you're probably like, what's going on with her brows? I prefer filling my brows in last. I know a lot of people do their brows first and then do their makeup, but then I find it gets covered up with foundation and you have to be super precise, and I am not precise. When it comes to applying my base makeup, I just kind of want to get it on and over with. So I do my brows last. And an important thing, if you have sparse brows like me and you're using a pencil, you want to take setting powder and like when I set, I like run it through my brows going backwards. So I'm kind of getting in between the hairs because you really want to have like a dry surface for it to cling onto. And when I do my moisturizer and skincare in the morning and I know I'm wearing makeup, I will not run it through my brows. I will be very, very careful to go right around under my brow and right above my brow, because if you have a lot of moisture there, the products are going to emulsify and not stick and not work how you want them to. I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to fill in my brows. I'm going to use my Anastasia Brow Freeze, do the whole setting spray, fix my bangs, and then come back for lips. We are back after a little bang zhuzh. Maybe I can do, maybe if I do Vlogmas, one of my videos can be on how I style my bangs. Not that I'm an expert at it, but I have issues with fine hair. And my hair lately, I don't know what's been going on with it. Like I've been deep conditioning it a lot, so like it's been getting greasy faster, which is like the opposite of what's supposed to happen if you've been conditioning your hair. But anyways, I just popped on the Faux Mink Ardell Wispies. These are my absolute favorite go-to lash. I absolutely love them. I think that they provide just enough for everyday wear without being too much drama. And I used a lip liner in the shade Love Bite by Morphe, and this holiday season, I have to use this berry gloss. I don't think I've ever worn it before except for in a swatch video, but it's from the Moonspell collection because it's called Bitchcraft. This is from Lunar Beauty. I've been really into their products, if you couldn't tell. I just like supporting smaller indie brands, and even though people may not think that Manny is like a smaller indie brand compared to bigger brands like Charlotte Tilbury, he definitely is. So let me know, what are some of your favorite makeup brands? So this is gonna add just like a little bit of darkness, which I kind of like because it kind of adds to like the punk vibe that I got going on. I'm wearing my U shirt today, so that is that, my friends. I feel like this is such a fun look. It's like my favorite go-to look whenever I'm going out to dinner, whenever I just like want to put makeup on just to feel good and I don't want to think about anything. This is what I love to do for my eye look. I also think that it is super, super pretty for the holiday season. And as always, you don't need to have the exact palette that I use because there's so many palettes out there that have similar of those two brown shades. But this, I will say the shimmer is just so special. It's so unique, it's so different, it's so special. But you can, again, substitute with any other shimmer that you have from other palettes. But this is a completed look. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me, getting ready with me, listening to like my all over the place ADHD thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe so if you'd like to see more content from me, and if you aren't seeing my content, be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be notified. It should show up in your home screen when I upload a video. Be sure to check out the description box to find out where else you can find me. As always, thank you so much for your time and energy. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.